Yo guys, it's Haunting Lime, welcome back to the channel, and this was supposed to be a video featuring 5 or 3 different teams that could be utilized in the Retro Cup, but sadly I suck at this game and the teams I created actually weren't working at all. They were ABB style teams, but I did manage to find the best team in my opinion for the Retro Cup, and it helped me go on an insane run. I probably could have gone on a 15-0 streak if I really wanted to, but I'll showcase that in a second. But guys, before I get started, I want to say a big thank you to all my recent subscribers. I'm on my way to getting to 400 subscribers really soon. So guys, please help me get there. And if you can, like the video, please, it really helps out. And yeah, obviously only if you like the content, please like the video, and also subscribe to my channel, because I want to get more content out there, and the best way to do that is just by liking the video and sharing it. But guys, let's get on with the battles, because there's some spicy boom moments that you're going to really enjoy. So take it away. Yo guys, it's Haunting Lime, back again to kind of explain the team. So the team I've been using is Typhlosion in the lead with Double Dragon. So Double Dragon is probably going to be the strongest team core use, or maybe Triple Dragon, or whichever kind of dragon, because Dragon Breath is probably the most OP move out there in the Retro Cup, because there's no more Charmers, there's no more Steel types, and Azumarill obviously is gone as well. Dragons pretty much have free reign to do whatever they want. Like, yes, there's Froslass, but Abomasnow gets heavily countered by Talonflame and a-wak, which is going around quite prevalently. I've tried the Double Eyes team and it does consistently well to get like 3-2s, but it's not that great. I've even tried it with Lapras. So this team is my best performing team out of like 5 different teams I've tried. So I've tried Double Psychic, kind of works alright, a little bit slow, not to my liking. I've tried Double Ghost, again gets fully shut down by all the normies that are running around, and there's a lot of normies running around, especially XL Lickitung, especially if you're higher up in the leagues, and Snorlax is basically wall you. I've also tried, what else have I tried? I've tried Double Fighter Strat as well, kind of works, not great in my opinion, and I've also tried a different Ghost line as well, where obviously utilizing Gengar and Haunter. So I've tried my teams, guys, and really couldn't get anything to work apart from this team, and the reason why this team works is because there's nothing that hard counters the dragons at the moment. There are a few Charmers running around, like I think check. Basically, there's a few like weird Charmers that no charm, like Galactic Charm as well. But the reason, I mean, they don't have stab, which basically makes this team even stronger. So the reason why I've got Typhlosion in the lead, because I think it's probably the strongest lead around, because it has Shadow Claw. Incinerate, great move. Not a big fan, hence why I'm not using Talonflame, or hence why Talonflame can be overcome by a lot of Pokemon as well. Shadow Claw gets you really strong leads like this one here against Defense Deoxys. Yes, I've got to watch out for the Rock Slide, but I can chunk away so quickly at this Defense Deoxys, because Shadow Claw hits the Psychic types, hits the Ghost typing, because Ghosts really don't have any of the counters apart from Ghost types in this league, because Dark's gone. It also does really well against the fighting types too, and it does neutral against a lot of things. So my opponent actually shields, because Blast Burn hits everything. This is a boom team by nature as well, and it's about getting those shields and then getting your opponent kind of low enough where the Dragon Breath is can just come in and fully commit to the farm down and not worry about getting taken out by anything. So this team went on a really strong run. I was able to take Legend with it again, because I keep trying out teams and dropping like around 2900. I was able to get at least 150 points with this team in a day. I think if I just used this team for a good day or two, I probably would have been on the leaderboards quite comfortably, because like I said, there's nothing really there to counter the Double Dragon strat, or even a Triple Dragon strat, or well, Dragon Breath strat with anything. Blah, get my words wrong. But guys, let's get on with the explanation of why this team works, and kind of show you why you should already use it as well. It's a fairly budget team, because Typhlosion only requires 10,000 starters to actually get a second move, which is really good. Obviously Blast Burn is required, because Blast Burn is a monster move. It hits everything super hard, and people are required to shield. And look at this, I'm gonna Blast Burn this Macago. It's resisted, but it's still gonna do quite a lot of damage, and look at that, it takes it out, and my opponent takes me out. But this is why having the well, this is the team. This is the game where I could have won this, and I misplayed heavily because I didn't throw the Aqua Tail on the Dragonair. Sorry about that, guys. On to the next game. So my video recording keeps shutting off, so really apologies for that. But let's get on to the actual commentary of the game now, rather than me just chatting loads of words. So why is Dragonair really good? The Dragonair obviously learns Dragon Breath too, but it also has access to Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail is really easy to get to with Dragon Breath, and it actually chips away quite a lot at neutral Pokemon. So my opponent brings out a Snorlax. Snorlax is not a bad answer because the body slams will start chunking away, but here, because my Snorlax is behind energy, it doesn't try to fully farm me down. I was able to reach the Dragon Pulse, which will do quite a lot of heavy damage, and it really does almost take out the Snorlax, which is totally fine. And I'm bringing in Altaria now because I could bring in my Typhlosion, but I'd rather keep it for a later time. That's because obviously Typhlosion has Shadow Claw, and Shadow Claw Shadow Claw basically does nothing against normal types, and my opponent actually has a Dunsparce in the back, which is quite a spicy pick. I built a Dunsparce too, but it knows Bite, so Bite is probably a really good ghost counter, and being a normal type, it's actually a really strong team, so a really strong core or a double normal team. So the reason why I'm saying this team works against a lot of the meta is because a lot of the meta is using either double ice to a certain degree, or double ice or Froslass. Most teams are using Froslass. Typhlosion counters Froslass with Shadow Claw as well as Incinerate, so you can use either move. And obviously Dragonair can do really well against the Froslass because you know what, it's fairly tanky, and and if you get the Aqua Tails off, it does quite a lot of damage that adds up. So on to the next game, and Altaria obviously being a really good tanky Pokemon. This is going to be one of those tricky games because obviously Macago in the lead is doing super effective damage with his rock throws against the Typhlosion, and I bring in my Dragonair because Dragonair obviously has access to Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail is going to be the only move that's really going to really threaten the Macago, and my opponent brings out an excellent Medicham, which is kind of a fine answer because I know I can survive one Ice Punch quite comfortably because Dragonair is thick, you know. There's a reason why Dragonair is known as the chunky one. But yeah, I'm able to survive that. My opponent does counter me down, which is totally fine because he's told me that he has Ice Punch and Psychic. So now I'm fully going to commit to the farm down of this Medicham and Shield once because I want to have lots and lots of energy to threaten the Macago, and because not everyone is fully aware of Typhlosion's moveset because it has kind of a spicy moveset. It knows Soul Beam, which I will get off in, you know, I'm sure you've already seen the start of it. I will get it off against Pokemon, and my opponent brings out Macago again, and he really should have just let this go. But I think Macago is fairly squishy in the Great League, so he kind of wants to protect him because he knows Macago is going to do quite a lot of work. And I'm able to actually get both shields off this Macago, which I was surprised, and that allows me to now bring in my Altaria. And even though Altaria is taking super effective damage from the rock throws, I have the shield to protect myself from either a Stone Edge or anything else that comes my way. Thankfully, I was able to do that, and I'm charging all the way up to a Dragon Pulse because I know a Sky Attack is going to be resisted. It's not going to do anything, and I need to get to this next I need to get this Macago pretty much low enough to kick it out. My opponent actually has a Shadow Victory Bell. I was surprised by that. I wasn't thinking that's going to be something like that. There's a reason why he stayed in, obviously, with Macago. So, yeah, again, this team proving its worth by having that double Dragon Breath uses. So oppressive. And again, starting with a bad lead. This team is really good at taking advantage of a good lead and a bad lead. It can come around a lot. And Dragonair being that safe switch actually turns a lot of games around. It can be a really good pivot as well because it can leave Pokemon in a really low state where I can actually farm down. And this is where I'm talking about Dragonair being really strong against Froslass, because Froslass is fairly squishy. It's not too bad, but look at that Dragon Pulse, did so much damage, and it gets low enough now where I can just bring in my Typhlosion, and look at those Shadow Claws, it's chunking away at the Froslass, and I want to shield once because I'm scared of the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball would be close to taking me out, and I'd rather not let it take me out. I get a bit of farm, obviously, on my Typhlosion, which is obviously great. Typhlosion with energy is an absolute monster. My opponent brings out a Dragonair, and the reason why I'm staying in here right now is because I need to get some damage off against this Dragonair because Altaria will lose Dragonair depending on, you know, how much health it has, and because Aqua Tail isn't going to do too much, and I was afraid of the Dragon Pulse, I actually shield here, which I didn't need to. If I knew my Dragon Breath counts a lot better, which is really hard to do because Dragon Breath is so really, like, it's just annoying as a move to count. But now my opponent only has Snorlax left, and he has 2 shields, which is totally fine. I've still obviously got Typhlosion with quite a lot of energy, and Altaria had loads of energy from the farm down of Dragonair, and like anything else, Altaria is super thick. Those clouds on it basically absorb any impact, and obviously Snorlax only go for So yeah guys, again, sorry about that. Camera keeps turning off for some goddamn reason. It's going to piss me off. But able to go 4-1 in the first game. Could have been 5-0 if I was able to throw that aqua tail with Dragonair. But hey ho, things happen. And on to the next game. So this is my second set climbing up by like quite a lot of points, and my opponent actually brings in my opponent actually brings out a Regirock, which I was like, shit, what do I do against this? And I was like, does he know? Does he know? He doesn't know. He doesn't respect the boom of Solar Beam, and look at that, he's actually taken by surprise too. He doesn't know what else to bring out. He brings out his Hypno, and the reason why I switch out here is because I want to keep my Typhlosion alive, and I'm not really sure what my opponent's running, and Ice Punch I already know can't take me out in one hit, and Dragon Breath obviously going to chunk quite a lot of health away. Because my opponent is already switch locked, I'm going to try and get this Hypno really low, where I can actually just come in next with my Typhlosion again and fully farm down. And I was almost able to get to the Aqua Tail, but sadly not enough there. But I am obviously up a shield. What shield am I talking about? I obviously got 2 shields, so I do successfully shield that Shadow Ball. My opponent actually has a Charm Delcatty, and I'm like, shit, what do I do against this? But thankfully, Charm is resisted against fire types, and my Typhlosion is actually doing quite a lot of he's able to get quite a lot of energy from this Delcatty, because obviously it's a normal type, and I'm able to get both shields, which is perfect. And now I can bring in my Altaria, because like I said, it's not a stab charm user, therefore the damage is not that great. And obviously I've got 1 shield, and he goes for a Play Rough. My opponent obviously shieldless. I can go straight for the Sky Attack, because again, Dragon Pulse will be resisted. There's no point going for Dragon Pulse. Sky Attack should be quite good, or almost be good enough to take it out. But even if I do get taken out, which I don't think, because like I said, Charm doesn't have stab in this case, my opponent is obviously going to be taken out by the Dragon Breath. This is what I'm talking about, Dragon Breath being so strong, it can take out many different Pokemon. And because we're not in like Ultra League, Pokemon aren't generally the tankiest, even though they're fairly bulky, like Snorlax and Lickitungs. So my opponent, actually talking about Lickitung, goes into a XL Lickitung here as well. So I'm building my own currently, but you know, I don't have a Fawn Rocker, so I don't really have the ability to get XL Candy that easily. So I can win this matchup, and most people will not shield their Lickitung because they don't want to use a shield on a tanky Pokemon because in order to survive, they go straight for the heavy hitting Dragon Pulse. This is what catches people off by surprise, because most people might not run that. That is the preferred moveset, and I want to shield here because this is going to be a body slam. It's going to take me out, but I'm able to maintain switch. I'm able to take switch now, and taking switch would be really important because obviously Pelipper has a really good solid matchup against my Typhlosion, and he actually has a Medicham in the back, so I could have really charged up to a Dragon Pulse, but it's totally fine. Aqua Tail does quite a lot of damage, and also the Dragon Breath does almost get to half health. So now I bring in my Typhlosion, because Typhlosion, like I said, is super solid against all these Psychic types and Ghost types with the Shadow Claw. And my opponent does switch out, he throws the Psychic, and he will survive that comfortably because it wasn't boosted, and he goes into his Pelipper, which obviously I can just go into with my Altaria. And I was tempted to shield, but I didn't want to get baited by a Weather Ball, so I basically have to shield a Weather Ball now. So most Pelippers do throw Hurricane straight away, so I should have really shielded. But look at that, Dragon Breath did so much damage. I was able to get it so low without even throwing a charge move. So because I was able to fully farm that down that Pelipper, I have back-to-back Sky Attacks ready, and this will get both shields, and that's what I need, because what did I say? Typhlosion with energy is a beast. And I go straight to Typhlosion, and Shadow Claw gets to the Blast Burn, and Blast Burn is going to take out this XL Medicham. It doesn't care if you're XL, bro, doesn't care. So it takes out the Medicham really comfortably, and again, Dragon Breath is so good for this league because there's no hard counters for it. Steel is not here. Dark obviously doesn't do anything against it, but again, Dark is not really going to stop me, not really going to come into the way of this team. Basically, no Charmers, no Steels, which are basically the biggest counters for Dragon users, whereas obviously Ghosts only have Darks, which are not here, which is totally fine. So you're going to see a lot more Froslasses, a lot more Ghost types, but obviously that brings out a lot more normal types. And normal types don't really do well against Dragon Breath because they are bulky, but they lack that sort of punching power, and the Dragon Breath just obviously adds up over time and takes them really low. And this is where I should have been a little bit better with my energy management. So this is a game I think I could have won. Maybe I let my opponent get to a charge move or something, or I wasn't able to fully commit to this takedown of the Froslass, which is a bit sad because my opponent obviously has a Dunsparce, which is, again, like I said, a normal type. So these Shadow Claws aren't doing too much, and I go for the Blast Burn here trying to get a shield, which I should be able to get because obviously everyone shields the Blast Burn, and my opponent has a Hypno in the back. So my misplay here in this game, so this is a game I should have won as well, I think, is I go straight for the Sky Attack, because obviously Sky Attack can do quite a lot of damage. I could have actually gone for the Dragon Pulse, and maybe that would have been the better play, but I didn't. I think Sky Attack I think is more energy efficient, so Sky Attack is a better play. So here I think I get to the Sky Attack before my opponent gets to the Ice Punch, and I click onto a little late, so I do an extra Dragon Breath, so that allows my opponent to actually win CMP or basically get the move off before me. And even though I'm able to farm down this Typhlosion and Bite isn't doing too much damage, my opponent obviously is super. This Dunsparce is super chunky. Like most normals are quite chunky, and that Blast Band does quite a lot of damage, but he's able to get to a charge move, which is going to be more than enough to take me out, because yeah, Typhlosion isn't the tankiest Pokemon around, and Drill Run hits super effective. So Dunsparce has some really like cool movesets, but it can be walled. So that's the game I could have more or less won. So off to a really strong lead. Like I said, Shadow Claw does so well against Froslass, and I switch out a little bit late here, and my opponent has quite a lot of energy, so I already know this, but Altaria obviously doesn't want to see the Froslass because it's going to take double super effect damage from the Powder Snow, and I missed that bubble. And I think this is why I hate Sky Attack, because bubbles are really important to get, and yeah, I think that's going to cost me, because I needed that extra little bit of damage, because my opponent was actually going to be able to get to a third Body Slam. So here I'm going for the full farm down, and look at that, he survives on like 1 HP and a dream, and I'm committing the second shield here because I want to get switch and also basically get the thingy, and because I go down on 1 shield, that shield will come in handy later on, which yeah, it would have been much better. My opponent was in the shield because he knows he's got a really bad matchup against Typhlosion, and now my opponent has quite a lot of energy from the Altaria, so I have to respect the Shadow Ball, which it most likely will be, and it is. And now I'm basically shieldless, which isn't great, and he has a Jealous in the back, which is a pretty good answer for the dragons, because it can learn Ice Beam, which yeah, it hits quite hard. It isn't fully one shot, which is fine, but I could have probably built up for the Dragon Pulse here, but I knew it most likely will shield. My opponent does shield anyway, and I'm not able to Dragon Breath it down even more. And I do have a Blast Pin ready here, but my opponent is most likely going to shield again because he had 2 shields. So losing that so-called shield advantage from the beginning was really costly, because now, even though the Shadow Ball won't take me out, it's going to get me so low where I can't do anything. So if I had just done that extra bubble on Sky Attack, which is a really frustrating move because of the so-called animation, I probably would have won that game. So misplays do happen, again, it's learning the team, but I do think this team is going to help me get onto the leaderboards, hopefully by tomorrow. So I will showcase this if I do, but I'm going to try out some more teams as well. So again, originally the plan was to get out 3 to 4 different teams, which I always do for every league, showcasing some of the best utilized teams for the league, and they weren't working. Most of my teams that I tried weren't working. I tried out all the different types of Pokemon. I did try a lot of ABB style teams, so maybe tomorrow I'll try a lot of like ABC or a lot of neutral or really strong teams that could be utilized. So my opponent actually has a Shelgon, which uncommon, but it is what it is. It knows Dragon Breath. Like I said, Dragon Breath is basically going to be the most OP move in this cup. So guys, if you can use this team, it's fairly budget. Dragonair is going to be the only costly thing that you're going to have to make. Altaria should already be a Pokemon that you already have invested in, or have something that you already have. So yeah, Altaria plus Dragonair makes a really strong combo, and Typhlosion having access to his charge move. Obviously, you need to have Blast Pen, so not really that accessible, but people might already have that on their Typhlosions. So again, my opponent is using a Shadow Dragonair, so it's going to take a lot more damage from these Dragon Breaths from my own Altaria. So I'm happy to shield this, thinking it's going to be a Dragon Pulse. It's actually a wrap. So yeah, and that's a wrap, boys. I'm able to fully Dragon Breath it down, and because my opponent obviously has the Medicham, I've got energy ready, and because Medicham is, I think, energy dry, I'm totally fine with well, he let it go anyway because he knew he was going to get taken out either way from the Dragon Breath. So only able to go 3-2 in this set, but I am climbing up. So, we've gone up already about 80 points, and now we go for the 5-0, boys. 5-0 with this team. So having a bit of practice with the teams, knowing what kind of damage I can output, and we're ready. We're ready to go for that 5-0 and take out everyone. So like I said, Froslass, pretty common lead, and really strong Pokemon in this league. It's probably probably the strongest Pokemon in the league because of the way it's got no counters hardly, and it has a really good lead position, has a really good safe swap position, has a really good closure as well. So I'm able to successfully shield up that Dragon Pulse from my opponent and fully able to farm down the Dragonair. So my opponent for some reason shielded his first Dragon Blast Bed. Totally fine. it was easy to get the shield or to get the damage across because I wanted to obviously farm down with my Dragonair. I wanted to obviously win switch. Here I'm happy to let my Dragonair go down, but before it goes down, it's going to get out an aqua tail, which does really well. My opponent is fully shieldless now, so I can just come in with this Typhlosion, and I've got to respect the Shadow Ball again. So I'm going to shield, but I can get this Froslass pretty much in a range where I can fully farm it down. So here I'm building up to the Blast Bin and throwing the Blast Bin, because what I want to do now is I want to come in with Altaria and fully commit to the farm down on this Vigor Rod, and if I do that, I'll have energy ready to throw on the Froslass, which even if I don't, I've still got the Typhlosion in the back. So body slam spam is going to happen, totally fine. I'm happy to let this Altaria go down to half health, whatever, and I'm able to get to the Sky Attack. So this was done perfectly. I'm able to get all the bubbles too, which obviously wasn't required because Froslass is already pretty much dead, but able to get the first win there. So like I said, the more practice with the team I had, the better I performed. The more matches I could understand would go in my favor. And like I said, there's so many normal types out there, and normals don't resist Dragon Breath. Dragon Breath is the key to winning in this cope. So it's probably going to be my best recommendation. Probably the best or strongest teams I would say are going to be the Dragon users, because like I said, they have 2 counters that are basically banned, 2 counters, whereas the Ghosts only have 1 counter that's banned, and even the Psychics only have 1 counter that's banned. So Dragon is going to be the strongest type to go into this cope, and I would highly recommend using this team if you really want to push the legend during the last week or last 2 weeks, because I think you can do it. This team is super strong and super versatile, and having that so-called Altaria and Dragonair as the core betas for the ice users, it's gonna be really good. This team wouldn't have been so good if there was no Talonflame. Having Talonflame around in the meta allows Abomasnow not to be a big threat as it actually could be, and I've tried Swampert double ice, which really works in the Great League, but it actually hasn't worked that well. I've tried it for like 3 to 4 different sets, get 3-2s comfortably, but I'm not able to get to 4-1s or 5-0s, so that just says the team is consistent enough to get 3-2s, but not great enough to go against the variety of the meta. And here, Altaria doing what Altaria does is going to go for the Sky Attack. The Sky Attack nerf really hurt Noctowl, because it hurt every Pokemon that can use Sky Attack, but like anything in Dragon Breath is going to be clutch. My opponent actually comes out with a Gengar, and I'm like thinking, okay, you're bringing out a Gengar with no shields, this is going to be pretty much a GG, because I'm so close to Sky Attack, and the Sky Attack almost, boom, takes it out, and it would fully farm down, and my opponent realizes he can't do anything because Dragon Breath is so oppressive. I'm going to keep saying it, guys, Dragon Breath is the most oppressive move out there in the cope. It's just going to be so annoying, and again, this is why I have Typhlosion in the lead, because it really shuts down the fire types of the Alolan Marowaks and also the ghost types with Shadow Claw. And here I'm catching on the Dragonair because obviously my opponent has access to Bone Club, which is going to do quite a lot of damage, and the reason, again, Dragonair is a really good counter for Alolan Marowak because Aqua Tail hits pretty hard, and the only move it can really do is Shadow Bone, which it requires 2 at least. And my opponent does a really amazing catch on the Medicham, which I'm totally fine with because, Medicham is super bulky, and I should have really gone for the Dragon Pulse, but obviously he had a really good catch. It is what it is, and I'm just going to chip away as much as I can, and my opponent is going to try to farm down as much as possible as well. I'm happy to let this Ice Punch go through. It's going to take me out, and because I know my opponent has already committed some energy, he might not be able to get to a Psychic. So I'm going to bring in my Typhlosion here to fully farm down, and look, I've already got so much energy. And maybe I was trying to fully farm down, but I threw the Blast Bin instead because I want to try and force a shield because he has so much energy. I knew my opponent would try and save his Medicham because obviously he wants to throw a Psychic, and he actually gets the Psychic off, and he gets a defense drop, which isn't great, but I'm able to catch this perfectly on my Altaria. He goes for a Shadow Bone. It wasn't a Bone Club, which is totally fine. But like I said, Dragon Breath doesn't care what typing you are unless you're a Charmer, and it's doing so much damage against this Alolan Marowak. And I let the next Shadow Bone go through as well because it's so tanky. I'm able to fully farm down, and it's basically 1 shield for 1 shield. I've got moves ready on my Typhlosion, almost ready for my Typhlosion, and Medicham comes back out again, lets me farm down even extra, and my opponent actually has a Froslass in the back. Like I said, this team doesn't care about Froslass. You can have 2 counters, you can have 3. Actually, it's the Abomasnow. So that Sky Attack going through did so much damage. So maybe my opponent should have shielded, but obviously I've got my Typhlosion in the back. Weather Ball isn't going to take me out here, and Blast Bin is basically going to take it out twice over. And my opponent knows that, and I'm just going to go for this straight up Shadow Claw down because I know my opponent can't get to the second move, and if he does, Powder Snow wouldn't be enough to take me out. So again, Typhlosion works as a really strong lead, and this is where I got a little bit worried because the Shadow Machamp isn't very common, but it is quite a deadly threat. My opponent comes out with a Froslass. This is what having the energy lead makes a big difference. So I was able to get quite a big lead on my opponent's Froslass, and the first Aqua Tail goes through. So my opponent will be able to get two avalanches, and I'm so close to getting this next Aqua Tail through. So I am going to shield this. And I think my opponent was or wouldn't be able to get to the second one, and I actually commit to the full farm down. I'm a madman, you know. I wanted to go with full farm down, have energy ready for this Machamp, because most likely Machamp will shield. He doesn't have to because it won't take too much damage, but he will because, you know, Machamps like to keep the health preserved for later matchups. So here I'm gonna go straight into my Altaria. It's because I know Altaria can tank a Rock Slide fairly well, even though it's a Shadow. Because look, Altaria is tanky. This is quite a highly ranked one. My opponent actually has a little Marowak in the back, and like I said, having the Shadow Claw on the Typhlosion is such an OP move, and I'm able to survive the Shadow Ball because most Marowaks aren't running Shadow Ball, and this Blast Burn, even though it's going to do neutral damage, is going to do quite a lot of neutral damage. Almost able to take it out, and I'm able to kind of take it out with just Shadow Claws alone. And now my opponent obviously has the Machamp. I've got a shield. He's got a shield, and it's basically a race to take it out. And because my opponent obviously threw the Rock Slide and he was Energy Dry, and he had to commit to the counter because obviously the shield would come in handy. And like I said, Dragon Breath OP again. You know, nothing really stops it, nothing really resists it because all the counters are basically away. Amazing lead. My opponent obviously was scared of the Incinerate, so he swapped out into his Gengar. I could have stayed in. I could have really stayed in, but I wanted to switch out because I wanted to kind of align this up. And here I was scared of the Shadow Ball, which thankfully I did shield correctly, and I know I'm able to fully farm it down, and I'm able to win switch. So even though I'm a shield down, I'm able to align my Pokemon correctly with my Typhlosion, hopefully. So I'm going for the Dragon Pulse here because, like I said, nobody expects the Dragon Pulse, and it does a lot of damage, even to the Abomasnow. And if I mean, this Abomasnow's getting quite a lot of farm off me, so I could have committed the shield here, but it was basically pointless. He would have had another Weather Ball ready, but he like I said, the Abomasnow is useless because it can't throw any energy, and my opponent has a Jealous in the back, so not great. And this is where I really would love to go for the Solar Beam, but it's going to be difficult to get to because most likely my opponent has two. Like, my opponent has two shields. He's going to shield up everything, and here he's going for an aggressive farm down. I'm basically letting. I want to let this Typhlosion go because I'm doing super damage with the Shadow Claws, and I want to basically absorb the energy if it has an Ice Beam or a Bullet Beam. I want to basically know what my opponent's running, and he goes for a Shadow Ball, so I'm not really sure what he has, but he is both. He's obviously shieldless now, and now because Jealous, like I said, doesn't resist Dragon Breath, I'm able to shield up once. And the thing about one thing I've learned is Ice Beam isn't enough to KO a full health Altaria, so Altaria can do quite a lot of damage, and I'm able to get through the Sky Attack as well, so it will take that win. So really strong, even though I was a little worried because Jellicent can be really strong. But guys, able to go 5-0 then again, able to go 5-0 with his team. So amazing team, got all the way up to 330, 66, hitting legend for like the 4th time this season. But team performed really well, and I highly recommend this team. I think it's the best team probably for the Retro Cup. So if you have access to all these Pokemon, I do say use it, because I have tried out other teams and nothing has given me consistency like this team. And I know if I use this team further, I'll probably be able to hit the leaderboards or climb really high during this time period. So guys, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and see you guys in the next one. Thank you.